Hello, I wanted to spend a few minutes reflecting on the graduate certificate in learning design and the micro-credential equivalent for the subject that's called design. So what we had in front of us, I'm just going to go to the assignment. You had to create a learning design proposal, which was worth 60%, and also a reflection, which is worth 40%. I might just start with the reflection. Everyone did really well with the reflection, or most people did really well. The higher quality submissions told us about what your first impressions were, what your kind of current situation was, and then how you'd changed through the 6 weeks. And then linking some of your new ideas, your new learning, your new knowledge, your new skills with the academic literature, with some future plans. So I was really pleased with everyone's reflections. I want to speak mostly on the learning design proposal, which I have in front of me. So you were asked, everyone focused on their own performance gap and within their own workplace or scenario, which was really good. But what we wanted you to submit in your 1,000 words, a brief description of the scenario and your learning professional context, an outline of the targeted learners and an overview how their needs and gaps could be determined. We didn't need you to actually do that, the survey, but just describe how you would go about doing it. Then into the actual detail, what are the learning outcomes to address the performance gap, some proposed strategies, just 2 or 3, and most importantly, a selection of some models, frameworks, approaches that you need to justify, that have informed your decision. So even though that's right at the end, that's actually central to our aims here. So I do have another document that I'm going to read from. One of the great things in my situation is because all of the learners, I think there were about 30 of you all up between the two combined cohorts, but we had quite a few people from different sectors. So that's one of the great things in my situation is I get to see an insight into where you're coming from, who you are in terms of your role, and most importantly, who are your learners? What are their needs? What do they not know you want to train them up in? It's a very everyday language there, but what is the performance gap? So we had a lot of people, quite a few from the Australian Army, and their learners, your learners, were specialist service officers, combat engineers, instructors even. So that's train the trainer type of territory, which is always really interesting. So there was a range of different performance gaps, everything from assisting with the use of explosive and firing systems, which comes with that territory, but also encouraging active learning, using calculations and quantities, facilitating learning, using learner-centered approaches, and questioning techniques. So a range of different skills and knowledge. There was also a lot of early people from university, and your learners were people like early career academics, other university staff and teachers. So this was by far the biggest cohort. So some of the kind of context for that group were you wanted to get your learners to use learning module templates, like a kind of learning management system type of territory, to design and structure courses, which is a little like we're doing now. You wanted them to set up tasks within the learning management system. There was quite a few of you that were focused on Zoom and other technologies, a little bit of curriculum design, designing reasonable adjustments, for example, for ADHD students who were studying design. Bit of pedagogy and incorporating learning and teaching considerations, using classroom technology, that type of thing. Using more measurable verbs with rubrics. I liked that one in particular, to construct clear and specific criteria descriptors. So because this subject is design, we have another subject called, what is it called? It's about assessment, and you're designing assessments specifically. So, but obviously there's overlap within this territory. And then we had other people in other workplaces, like high school teachers. One high school teacher wanted to help their mathematics teachers with declining exam results in algebra. And then another high school teacher wanted to onboard their fellow science teachers, but focusing on human-centred skills. So another one that was related to science communicators, and the performance gap was about identifying mistakes used by those scientific communicators. I might, just in the interest of completion, we also had others. There was almost like blocks of people, and then the rest, we had people that were teaching primary school students, a theology student teaching about, or wanting to teach about prayer, and where is that one? I think I've lost it. Never mind. There was a few AI-related marketing and content, AI, using AI tools, that sort of thing. A few retail trainers about product knowledge and communicating with customers, that sort of thing. Use of an online repository, different types of lenses in a retail optical dispensary. Here it is, discussing the nature and purpose of public prayer, critically analysing the associated issues. Now, the reason that I like to bring the whole range to your attention is that with all of you providing the context and the learner needs and some learning outcomes, it's really clear that we're starting with our learners in our design process, because people that are new to instructional design, learning design, sometimes there is a habit of rushing into the content. So the content becomes the focus, so then that trickles through with the approach where the exercise becomes a bit of a content delivery process. However, we want to get away from that. We want to focus on who are the learners, what is their context, what are their needs, and how do we design our resources or our experiences for them in order for them to meet those needs. So the higher quality submissions took the foundation of the context and the learners and the learning outcomes, then proposed just a few, not too many, just a few strategies like discussions or flexible delivery or hybrid approaches or incorporating the real world, something that was going to suit the needs of the learners in and assisting them, supporting them to achieve their learning outcomes. Then the next step was to link that to the academic literature. So the people that did the higher quality submissions or had higher quality submissions and explored their ideas in more detail, made stronger links to their decisions and linked those to the academic literature, as in the theory. I mean, without going into all the specific examples, there are all the readings and the articles in the Canvas course, ones that we have discussed each week, but we didn't have enough time in our 1,000 words to explore all the detail, but just picking out one or two or three and significantly linking them. So you're letting me know why this particular approach is going to be useful for your particular situation, which is in the spirit of design. Again, we want to get away from just this idea that here's the content and let's just communicate it over to that group of people who are our learners. There's very little design in that approach. So generally, I was really pleased with the high quality of the submissions. And back to the reflection, it was good to see that you all have plans for using your new knowledge, your new skills, your new attributes in your real world, your workplace or other situation. So that's the end of my reflection. So again, best wishes for your learning design activities. Thank you.